Hi, I'm Perry Atkinson, General Manager here at theDove. Hey, check out our other videos and check out our website at thedove.us. Okay, we're back, and it's always a delight to have back with us our good friend Dr. Alex McFarland. He's the Director for Christian Worldview and Apologetics at the Christian Worldview Center of North Greenville University in Greenville, South Carolina. I love this guy and his passion, and he writes books like crazy, and so you need to go to the website and check out some of his material, and we got a lot of things to talk to him about today. Hi, Alex. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning to you. Wow, a lot going on. First of all, right at the top, tell us about the Truth for the New Generation Conference.
Oh, man, thanks very much. Well, you know, we do this every year. It's a big apologetics conference, apologetics and defending the faith. And this year, September 5th and 6th, Spartanburg, South Carolina. Great place, just right near the Greenville-Spartanburg Airport. But we're going to be September 5th and 6th, hearing from great speakers like Josh McDowell, Sean McDowell, David Barton, Eric Metaxas, Johnny Erickson Tata. We'll be hearing from Tim Wildman, who's the president of the American Family Association, but also our very special guest this year, first time ever at the TNG event, is Dr. Ben Carson, and more than 20 speakers on apologetics, Christian worldview, and it's for all ages. And the website for this big event, we do it every year, but it's truthforanewgeneration.com. And I just want to say a big thanks to KDOV. Last year at TNG, we had people from 35 U.S. states, and a big part of that success and what God is doing through it, you know, I'm thankful to folks like you guys who help us get the word out.
Well, it's a great conference, and I want to encourage our viewers and listeners to check it out. Again, September 5th and 6th, so you got some time to plan for it. Truthforanewgeneration.com. You can go there and get signed up and be a part of it. And if you are into apologetics or want to learn more about defending the faith, this is one of the must-attend conferences, and I encourage you to do that. How did you get Dr. Ben Carson?
Well, you know, it was such a blessing. Last fall, I was in Washington, D.C. at a big event called the Values Voter Summit, which is something that the American Family Association and Family Research Council jointly puts together. Tony Perkins and FRC and Tim Wildman and AFA, and met some of Ben Carson's staff, got to know them. I was in Cincinnati, Ohio at a homeschool convention speaking, and met with Dr. Carson and just said, hey, let's preach the gospel to an audience. Here's the thing. I've got kind of one button on my keyboard, and that's spiritual awakening in America. I want to see a great revival in America, and I believe a big part of that is, obviously the proclamation of the gospel, but it's also equipping people to defend the faith. The Word of God tells the church to be ready always to give an answer. We need to be able to present, explain, and defend the faith. And way back in the 1990s, I wanted to meet Josh McDowell. And we brought Josh McDowell to my home city at that time, which was Greensboro, North Carolina. And then we brought in, other speakers like Lee Strobel and Norm Geisler and Ravi Zacharias. And here we are in 2014. And to the listeners, I would say, if you're not aware of it, there's this kind of tsunami building of apologetics.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's the most exciting thing that, 20 years ago, apologetics was kind of a word that you would only hear in...
Oh. Okay. I apologize for that. Skype being what it is. We'll get reconnected here with Dr. Alex McFarland. And, he is so right about something. And I'll just take a few moments here to kind of highlight it. Of all the programs that we have both on the Dove Radio and the Dove TV, the subject of apologetics by far receives the greatest response and interest. People love it. And whether it's Dr. Ravi Zacharias or the various programs that we have on the Dove TV that defend the faith, and then when we have guests like Dr. Alex McFarland on, the whole subject of defending the faith and explaining what we believe certainly is extremely popular. And I want to encourage you, if you can, this is one of those conferences you may want to prayerfully consider attending. It's called the Truth for New Generation Conference. It'll be September 5th and 6th there. And you can go to truthforanewgeneration.com and get all the information and sign up and attend that conference. But Alex is absolutely right. The number one response that we get a lot of programs. Don't you know? We got some great teachers. We got some great lifestyle programming on the radio and on the Dove TV and the Dove radio. But by far, apologetics is number one. All right, we got you back. Sorry about that.
Hey, man, sorry about that. Little hiccup there. Hey, man, let me just interject this. By God's grace, and I give God the glory, but it's been my privilege to write 16 books on apologetics and how to defend the faith.
Right.
And, I started out just really passionately wanting to equip teenagers and young people to not, lose their faith when they go to college. And now in the last, 18 years, I've been able to speak all over the country. And to everyone listening, I want to come to your church, and I want to come to your church, and it can be an all-day Sunday, it can be a weekend, but let's talk about apologetics for all ages. We want to equip mom and dad to build a biblical worldview into the lives of their kids. We want to equip the church members to be able to share their faith confidently in any situation. And we want to especially equip young people, sure, to love Jesus and win their friends, defend the faith, but I believe so passionately that the preservation of America depends on a revival of Christianity. Call me. If you go to my website, which is alexmcfarland.com, you'll find contact info. Listen, in 2015, I'm slammed till the end of this year, but 2015, 2016, let's plan an apologetics event for your church. I will come. We will equip your people. And let me say, I've seen it, many times. On the tracks of apologetics and biblical content that defends the gospel, on those very same tracks comes revival, and we need an awakening. And God's beginning to ignite this, and apologetics is a big part of it. Call me. I want to come to your town.
All right. AlexMcFarland.com. Check it out. Alex, have we taken Christianity for granted in this country? I mean, have you ever thought you'd live to see the day where Christians are being ostracized and under attack like we are now in the gospel?
Yeah, I really do think we've taken it for granted. Benjamin Franklin said, everybody loves the fruits of freedom, but few are willing to tend the tree that bears the fruits of freedom. And part of that, the tree that bears freedom is the gospel, the biblical worldview. Now, I think about my friends David and Jason Benham in Charlotte. I've lived in the Charlotte, North Carolina area since '06. And I mean, two of the finest godly Christian people who are incredible contributors to the community. They do things for others. They're incredible benefactors of the city, are the Benham brothers. And I was so thrilled 1 year ago. They spoke at Truth for a New Generation last year. And they said, hey, they're both former pro athletes. They played baseball. They're entrepreneurs. They've built a big business. They employ dozens of people. They give to the city. They help homeless people get in houses. I mean, they're everything a good citizen should be. And they, last year at TNG, talked about how they were going to get this show on HGTV. And, it is disheartening that when a Christian shares their convictions, plus what just so happens to be biblical truth, that the well-organized, well-funded, for 4 decades, nearly unrelenting gay cultural propaganda machine bullies HGTV into canceling that show. It is sad that rather than standing on convictions, now people, really acquiesce to political correctness. And the Benham brothers are just the latest casualty in that struggle.
I was shocked when I saw that, but on the other hand, I have personally written HGTV on many occasions concerning some of the content or the suggestive content, because overall the network is a great network. It's got a lot to offer, but there is a bent there. It's a very pro-homosexual bent, and I've written some nice emails. Never to this date have received a response to any of them, and then here come the Denham brothers, and they're just flat ousted for praying.
Yeah. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
And folks, let me just say this. the whole battle of worldviews that we're in right now, whereby different worldviews could be put on equal footing as the biblical worldview that our founding fathers really based America on. All of this has been possible because there's been this tacit assumption that there are no moral absolutes. And so 2 points that are worth making is moral absolutes exist. And our nation and our society, really our freedoms and our liberties, are completely predicated on there being a God and a moral code that we can know and should follow. The other point that's worth making is this, that the mainstreaming of homosexuality and really the legitimizing of gay marriage to the exclusion of those who would defend traditional marriage, all of that has not been because science discovered people are born gay. False, never happened. All of this has happened not because God's moral code has been nullified, never happened. What you and I are seeing is simply the result of really 45 years of PR and marketing of the gay agenda. And you might think, well, gee, big deal. Yeah, it's a big deal because do you understand, folks? Do you understand that as we get rid of people like the Benham brothers and their viewpoint, as we marginalize anybody that would try to defend traditional values, we've got two things that are very sad. Number one, our religious freedoms are being eroded, and therefore all of our freedoms are being undermined. But do you understand? We're going to turn our back on 2,000 years of Western civilization. We're going to turn our back on 5,000 years of a Judeo-Christian worldview, all because of a 40-year propaganda campaign. We're going to redefine what marriage and family is all about. History, civilization, the bedrock of society, just because some activists have really outmaneuvered us.
Let me take a quick break, Alex. I'll be right back. Dr. Alex McFarland is with us. And again, alexmcfarland.com. And if you want to attend the upcoming conference, go to the Truth for a New Generation conference.com. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, we're back with Dr. Alex McFarland, and just really appreciate what this gentleman stands for and what he does. And he has this conference coming up in September 5th and 6th, and it's called the Truth for a New Generation Conference. You can go to truthforanewgeneration.com and find out all about the conference and sign up. And if you want to check out Dr. McFarland's material, you can go to alexmcfarland.com and check out his books. And he is very passionate. You know, Alex, your theme this year is life and liberty, and I sense your passion to return America back to its biblical roots. Life and liberty, how did you select that as your theme? We lost him. All right. Been a day of challenges. Okay, we'll get him back here in just a moment. Again, truthforanewgeneration.com for the conference in September. And then, of course, for him personally, it's alexmcfarland.com. All right, there you are. You're back. Did you hear my question about life and liberty?
No, repeat that,
Okay,
please.
well, I see where you have life and liberty as the topic for your conference, and I know you have a real passion for the Christian heritage of America. How did you select life and liberty be your theme?
Well, this year our theme is life and liberty because for one thing, folks, we want to talk to young people about how to do America. We've got to tell a young generation how to America because, there are just so many people now, even some grown-ups, that just really think America was just this economic experiment when really it was the uniting of biblical principles with the principles of good civil government. But I'll tell you this, every year at TNG, we partner with the Chuck Colson Ministry to do what we call a national briefing. And last year we did a big national briefing on religious freedom. Well, this year we're going to have, in addition to all the great speakers, Johnny Erickson, Josh McDowell, Gary Habermas, Tim Wildman, David Barton, Ben Carson, all these great speakers. But the Colson Center puts together this roundtable. And this year, basically we're going to talk about human rights and personhood. Think about it. Are your rights given by God and therefore can't be taken away, as our founders said, inalienable, or are your rights given by the government? Now think about this in the case of Hobby Lobby. In one of the Supreme Court deliberations, one of the people who was arguing in favor of Obamacare, saying that businesses have to pay for abortifacients, have to provide same-sex spousal benefits to gay couples. The pro-Obamacare lawyers argued, hey, when you go into business, you give up some of your constitutionally protected rights. False. So life and liberty given by God, we're saying that life is sacred in all contexts. We're saying that freedoms are not piecemeal handed out to you by the government, but they're given by God. And, I want to say again to KDove what a thanks I owe you all. Last year when we had people from 35 U.S. states, we had many, many, many attendees from the West Coast because of your help in promoting. This year, folks, come to Spartanburg, South Carolina, September 5 and 6. This is not just a two-day theology lecture. I mean, this is going to light a fire in your hearts. This is going to equip the hearts and lives of young people, pastors, parents, and we're going to talk about life and liberty are gifts from God. Our founders believed it. We need to know it. And we just believe that this is part and parcel of the restoration of our country that simply must take place. We cannot, come on, church, we cannot roll over and play dead and let this nation turn into a totalitarian, politically correct police state with the homosexual thought police trying to silence those that would share the gospel, like Jason and David Benham, Hobby Lobby. No, we love people, but we've got to defend truth.
Do you think the church in America is now waking up, in spite of the fact that this is a political battle, they're going to have to get involved in it?
Yeah, I think so. And I think people are understanding that this thing of less than 1/3 of Christians being registered to vote, that's unacceptable. We've got to know what we believe, and we've got to avail ourselves to these wonderful channels God has given our nation, which includes the ballot box. Mm-hmm. I think people are waking up, and every generation has its unique assignment. Our founders weathered the winter at Valley Forge, and they fought the Revolution, and our grandparents weathered the Great Depression and the Cold War. Well, we're in a battle of worldviews, and that's different, I understand, but we've got to be not only godly Christians, but engaged citizens. And so I think people are beginning to get it. I hope they are.
I think there's also a genuine awakening that we are now in a spiritual battle for the heart and soul of America. That we are now, we're seeing the propagation of nonsense as being gospel against the gospel,
Yeah, and let me say this, we have the admonition to love our neighbor. Mm-hmm. Love means seeking the highest good of another. And love sometimes means that we don't tell people what they necessarily want to hear, but what they need to hear. In the case of the homosexual agenda, homosexuality, I minored in developmental psychology at the master's level. Homosexuality is a means of dealing with pain. There are what are called precipitating factors that contribute to people struggling with same-sex attraction. And we are not loving our neighbor when we say, go ahead and thrust yourself into a detrimental lifestyle. The Mark Regnerus at University of Texas in Austin in 2012 documented how children raised in same-sex households have much higher indicators for at-risk and very destructive behavior. So let me just say this, Christian, you can jump on the train at any level. Fidelity to the gospel, defense of the faith, preservation of our freedoms. But if nothing else, loving your neighbor means standing for the truth about the great issues of our day, which I think the point of the spear is certainly the moral issue of marriage, family, and homosexuality.
How do you feel we are doing against the issue of Islam being more and more accepted in this country and having equal footing to Christianity. How do we balance that one?
Well, we are a pluralistic culture in the sense of people are free to believe what they want to believe.
Right.
But pluralism as a worldview is not true,
right.
that says all beliefs are equally valid.
Right.
And so Muslims are free to be Muslims if they want to be Islamic, but we Christians should never cede the ground and say that Islam is equal to Christianity. Here's the thing. Jesus Christ claimed to be the one and only Son of God. Either he was right or he was wrong. Now, Christ coupled his exclusivistic claims, John 8:24, if you do not believe that I am he, you will die in your sins. See, Jesus made some incredible claims, but he coupled those claims with unparalleled, unequal levels of confirming proof, not the least of which is his own physical resurrection from the dead. And so we Christians have to understand that there was a man who said Jesus is the only way to heaven. Guess who said that? Jesus said Jesus is the only way to heaven. And so we can't cave in to the pressures of the age and just say that all religions are equally valid, right. Because they're not. Only one has an empty tomb.
Alex, you're a delight. And let me just say again, truthforanewgeneration.com is the website for the conference in September. And if you want to correspond with Alex and make available yourself to his resources and the many books that he's authored, and that's alexmcfarland.com. Thanks, buddy. Keep up the good work, and let's stay connected and have you on some more between now and September, okay?
Bless you. God bless you, and thank you so much for KDove.
All right, thank you, pal. Talk to you soon. All right, we'll be back next time on Focus Today.